my name is Max.
And I'm Maya.
Woo!
And we're going to start the story is a few years ago when we've been dating for about 5 years, and I had just finished college in California.
I was wrapping up my employment.
And we were trying to decide where to move next. So we thought, why not bike across the country over 4 months?
So we packed up our worldly possessions into a 4-foot storage unit, hopped on a cross-country train for 4 days, and found ourselves in West Palm Beach, Florida in February.
Great, so I'm standing on the train platform, and we take our tandem bicycle out of this box, and we assemble it together, and we start loading our gear onto it. And this is a picture of all the gear that we had to fit on our bike. And let me explain, at this point, we've done about 10 miles of training rides with our fully loaded bikes.
So we got going, and what became immediately apparent was just how much trust and communication we would need to travel in this way.
So to tell you a little bit about how tandem bicycles work, the person who sits in the front is called the captain, and they're responsible for responsible for steering and shifting gears and hitting the brakes. And the person in the back is called the stoker, and that person is responsible for, yes, for pedaling, but more important than anything, they're responsible for trusting and being supportive of the captain.
And when we were planning our trip, it was really important to us to be able to share those responsibilities and trade off between being stoker and being captain. And experienced cyclists and bike mechanics told us that it was actually impossible because we're different heights. And our height difference was too great and we wouldn't be able to do it. But we were really committed. So throughout our entire trip, we every day switched the roles. And one of us would ride in front and the other would ride in back. And it was very rewarding.
So another thing that experienced cyclists told us was that tandem bicycles are colloquially known as divorce machines. We're on that.
So we got going and enjoyed flat terrain and sunny skies and tailwinds, nice strong wind from behind. And we were really getting a good start and started meeting just amazing people along the way.
So this is Bill and Mary Moback, who are 81 and 77 years old. They ride their tandem recumbent tricycle thousands of miles every year. We met them on the side of the road. They invited us into their home. We spent the night with them. And this was sort of a priority throughout our trip, was that we got to stay with people. So we stayed in the homes of 44 different strangers across the country. Mostly people we met through home hospitality organizations, but some like Bill and Mary who just met on the side of the road.
We proceeded on through the deep south and really enjoyed the special local cuisines and fantastic music along the way.
And we made it to Austin, Texas for the South by Southwest Music Festival. So we spent a week there relaxing and hearing great music. And we got a short lift from my parents across North Texas because the terrain was a bit monotonous.
And then we entered southeastern Colorado. And our whole trip, we realized we were going to be hitting the Rockies in April, and we were really dreading this because it's often very snowy. But little did we know that one of the greatest challenges of our whole trip was actually going to come before we got to the Rockies. The worst of it was really 30 to 60 mile an hour headwinds. And for the person in front, you're using your entire upper body to keep the bike straight. Both people are pedaling incredibly hard, often to go 5 or 6 miles an hour. And the wind is just deafening when you're in front. And it's really unrelenting and soul-sucking experience.
So what became apparent quickly was how important it was for the stoker, the person riding in the back, to be supportive. And this became really important in our relationship, that at times each of us was the leader, the captain. And at other times, you were supportive and you really had to hide any doubt that you had and just be confident and motivate through emotional support.
Those of you that know Max know he has a lot of energy, and here he is passed out on the side of the road. We also found out that the high winds had flipped 3 tractor trailers on the day that video was taken.
Great, and eventually we made it to the mountains, and the snow was not a problem. This is a photo taken near the high point of our trip, over 11,000 feet in Hoosier Pass in Colorado.
This is an aging hippie named Jim who we met in the public hot springs named the Hobo Pool. He took us in for a couple nights, and this is just one of many, many, many generous people we met along the way.
This is an elevation profile from our longest day on the road. We went 140 miles and went over the Continental Divide once, and I will admit that we had incredible tailwinds.
We did get a little snow in Montana in May. Got to see a moose in northern Idaho.
And then as we neared our destination, Seattle, we had traveled, over 4,000 miles at this point. We were about 50 miles from Seattle. And we had a rainy day. I was captaining. We were on a narrow, windy road going through a state park. And I was going too quickly around a turn. In the front of the bike, the wheel slipped off the road onto the gravel shoulder, and we fell.
And it was incredibly scary to fall on a fully loaded bicycle with two people. And it was really the point in our whole trip when our trust in one another was the most challenged. And it was also the point when our trust in each other was the strongest it had ever been. And so we were able to pretty easily pick ourselves up, make sure we were okay, which fortunately we were, and finish out the next day in style. Here we are in Seattle, Washington, and with our victory shot.
Yeah, and we've been told that tandem bicycles were divorce machines, but what we decided after many conversations was that they're really relationship amplifiers. So when things are going poorly in your relationship, they can be quite challenging when you're stuck on a tandem bike together. However, when things are going well, they go really well, and it just feels great. So after traveling across the country and staying with so many amazing people and seeing their amazing lives, we decided really we could move anywhere and we'd be happy as long as we had each other. So now we're really proud to call Baltimore our home.
And last fall, we got to ride our tandem in style once more when we got married. And we still enjoy riding around town whenever possible, so if you see us, be sure to wave. Thank you.